Hey guys, welcome back to this week's Test It Tuesday. If you are new to my channel and you're like, what the heck is a Test It Tuesday? It's basically where I test a beauty product, any food product there is on Tuesdays, give you guys my reviews about it. If it is makeup, what I do is I put it on at the beginning of the day and then wear it for a good 8 hours because that's how long I usually would typically wear my makeup for. At the end of 4 hours, I check in with you guys and give you guys my first review of the first 4 hours that I've been wearing it. And then at the end of the 8 hours, I sit down with you guys, give you guys an overview, zoom you guys in on how the makeup looks. And anyways, for 2 days, Test It Tuesday, I'm going to be trying out the Hard Candy Mix in Pigment Drops. They're basically like the Cover FX drops that everybody uses here on YouTube, on Instagram, and everything. That's just what they look like. And yeah, if you are interested in the review and what I think about these, and you want to see what I think throughout the day, then just keep on watching. Okay, so sorry if you hear any background music that is other than my voice. I do have my windows open because it is a nice breezy day, so if there's any sound coming through, I hopefully will try to block it out. But anyways, we're going to be testing out, at least I'm going to be testing out, the Hard Candy Pigment Mix in Makeup Drops. I think it has a really long name. And I have 4 different shades. I picked up the light 4, the fair 1, this is medium 1, and then I got deep 3. The reason why I wanted to pick up 4 different shades is so we could kind of get a feeling of the different undertones in every little mix-in pigment. Every shade does vary with undertones, but it's just, I wanted to pick them up just to see what we're working with, because the deep ones, they did have, I'll insert a picture here actually that I took when I was at the store, and they do have a variety of colors, and I'm glad that there's like a ton. I think it's 12 different shades, and I like that because not every foundation has, you know, so much options. So yeah, these are a really good idea. But I'm gonna go ahead and put them a few drops behind my hand and then talk about a little bit more about the undertone in each pigment bottle. Okay, so I started off with the lightest shades first, and this is the light, this is light fair 1, I'm sorry, and then this is light 4. So as you can tell, the light one, the lightest one is like that nice porcelain, really just basically at that porcelain nice white fair skin tone. And I like that they actually included a fair mix and drop, because not everybody could get away with wearing this other shade being so light. Obviously it's not going to suit me, but if I do have a darker foundation that I like, I could always mix in a few of these of the lightest drops and work with the foundation, and hopefully that will work. But yeah, this one also, it looks like it has a lot of yellow undertone, but honestly, looking at it here, it has more of a pink. I'm not sure why it's picking up a little bit yellowish on camera, but it does have a lot of pink undertone. This one has a really neutral undertone, so there's no undercolor to it. It doesn't have pink, it doesn't have yellow either, so it's just a really natural fair shade. Alright, so here are the swatches of the darker shades. This one is medium 1, and then this one is deeper 3. Obviously, right away you could tell that deep 3 is not going to suit me whatsoever, but like I did say, I could use this to contour with. And even though it is a little bit on the deeper side, it does look really cool toned. It also has like an olivey undertone. I'm not sure if we'll pick it up or not, but this medium shade has the most yellow in it out of all the shades that I picked up, which I'm glad, because I have a really yellow undertone, and it's really hard for me to find foundations that have that work for dry skin and are yellow undertoned. So yeah, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get the lightest foundation shade that I own, and I'm gonna try to see if I could mix something to look like my other foundation. Okay, so the mix-in shade that I'm gonna be using is medium 1, and it's the one with the most yellow undertone in it. And I'm just gonna read what it says in the back for you guys and give you guys like a little description of what this is. So it just says foundation drops. It says, shake well before use, apply drops to your product, mix with finger, apply as usual, add more drops for higher coverage. So these are gonna be exactly like the Cover FX drops, except that these are like, they're gonna be a lot like the Cover FX drops, which I personally have never tried myself, but I don't see myself reaching for them as much just because they are a little bit on the higher end side and a little bit more pricier. So what I'm going to do is mix in the pigment medium 1 with my, what is this, dewy and smooth foundation to normal, for normal to dry skin, in the color 130 Buff Beige, and this foundation is from Maybelline. So as you can tell, I already put a little bit back here, and it does have a pink undertone, and it is way too light for my skin, and a pink undertone and a yellow undertone just don't mix together. What I'm gonna do is take the drop and I'm gonna put in 1, 2, 3, just in case. Let's start off with 3, and then it says to mix in with your finger, but I don't want to do that. What can I mix it with? Whatever, I'm just gonna mix it with my nail. So I'm gonna mix it. Oh, it did turn yellow. It just turned the foundation really watery. That's what it did. So I'm just gonna mix. Okay, so this is the foundation with the drops, and you can tell it's a little bit more yellow. This is the foundation without the drops, and you can tell it's just a little bit more pinkier. So hopefully this works out for us. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this. I'm not gonna use a beauty sponge just because I know that since it is really liquidy, it will absorb most of the product. So what I'm gonna do is just go in with a foundation brush. So, and I'm just gonna tap this all into my skin. And let me talk to you guys while I'm doing this. Let me talk a little bit about my skin type. So I do have dryness around the mouth area. I have higher pigmentation around the mouth area as well. I do have a lot of clogged pores. So that's basically it with that. Other than that, I am completely normal for right now. So what I'm going to do is just take my foundation brush and pat this into the skin. And so far it feels really lightweight. It feels like I'm applying nothing to my face, which I really like because I hate those foundations that feel really heavy on the skin. I think I should have added one more drop just because I feel like this is still a little pink for me. But it kind of smells like paint. Like, yeah, it smells like paint. That's awkward. Okay, so I did have my face with the pigment and my foundation. This is the other half by itself. I like this side just because it's a little bit more full. It's not full coverage. It's just a little, it's covering up a little bit of my problems that I do have going on. I also actually do have redness like right at the tips of my cheeks, and it's not really coming through as much, but it's also not full coverage because I could still see my acne scars right here, you know, a pimple right here. But for right now, looking at it at this light, I do have my ring light on and I'm in front of a window. It does look like it's matching, so that's a good thing. It doesn't feel heavy. It's not settling in to my fine lines yet, which I like. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead, finish up the other side so we could kind of see if it's, actually I just want to do that right now. I'm gonna grab a little bit more and put it in my problem areas, which are around my cheeks, and I'm gonna see if it's buildable because it doesn't say anything on the bottle about it being buildable, but I'm assuming since it's so thin you could just add as many layers as you want. Alright, so I'm done applying the foundation to both sides of the face. I do have two lightly layers on in the areas that I need, which is basically like my cheek area because I do have a lot of acne scarring. I did have to go in with a beauty sponge just with my Mario Badowski spray on it because I did see a lot of streaking from my foundation brush. So if you have both, I suggest, you know, first going in with your foundation brush and then tapping it out with a little bit of setting spray on your beauty sponge, and you know, just fixing those little problem areas. The color, I feel it fits me perfectly right now. I don't know how the foundation drops work with like products layered on top of it, because I still do highlight and then I contour. Actually, speaking of contour, I'm gonna actually go in with the darker shade now that we're here with the deep 3 and contour a little bit, just to see how that works out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shake these up for a little bit and then go in on my cheekbones and see if it works. So you guys know I don't cream contour, so don't make fun of me if this goes like the other direction real quick. So I just took some on the back of the foundation brush and patted most of the product off. So what I'm going to do is just lightly, and I think that's all I'm going to do just to start off. So with this, I did take a little wet beauty sponge. This is from Ulta. I don't know the name of it or if it has a specific name, but you can find it at Ulta. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend out the foundation drops upward. And I mean, obviously I'm still going to set this so it doesn't slide around, but because you should always set liquids just so they won't move around and interfere with your other makeup. Okay, so it's not as spreadable, is that what it's called? It's not as blendable by themselves, so that kind of sucks. I also noticed that the darker shades were a little bit thicker than the than the lighter shades. I'm not sure if just because on the darker ones they do have to add a little bit more pigmentation, but it kind of sucks how they're not all equally liquidy. I think. Okay, so I don't think I could use this as contour, but more as like maybe like bronzing. So I probably could apply my bronzer on top of this or just leave it as that and then contour in a little bit deeper because it did spread out a little thick. And I'm not sure if that's my fault or if this just right on the skin it spreads out. But when I put it on my hand, it didn't look like it. Alright, so I'm done applying my makeup. Yes, I did have to set the darker pigment with a bronzer. I didn't contour. I did add some blush and some highlights. So throughout the day, if you do see anything shimmery popping out on my face, it's my highlight, and I applied it to my forehead, the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, and the tops of my cheeks. So yeah, it is 12, exactly 12. I'm just gonna go about my day, go eat a little bit, clean up, and then check in with you guys when it is 4 o'clock and give you guys my first 4-hour check-in. So I will see you guys later on today. It's roughly 4:15ish right now. I'm in my kitchen just because we have this big window that a lot of natural light comes in through. So so this is why you're seeing like a weird angle. But anyways, my makeup, like my face makeup, still feels nice. It doesn't feel heavy. It does feel like a little bit oily, but like especially like if I touch my face like that and then like if I rub my fingers or something, it does feel a little oily. So with that being said, I'm not sure how it would work with people that have oily skin. I did mention and say that I have dry skin, so I don't really mind it. I'm not sure how people with oily skin feel about it. I did do a test patch as well on my hand just to do the drops on their own, and it looked really cakey, so I don't suggest putting on the drops by themselves. You do need to add like a moisturizer or something, because I kept reading the back of the bottle and it did say that you could add it to a primer, your foundation, moisturizer, and I think that was it. So these are definitely mix-in drops. They're not just like I could use them by myself drops. So yeah, I don't suggest that. I still do have another 4 hours to go, so hopefully my foundation and my face makeup still looks as good as it does right now. I did get a little bit of creasing on the sides of my nose, right there and right there. It always happens to me, but it's not as bad as it was with this application, and I think it's just because the foundation is so thin, so that's why maybe it like creases faster. But I did set my face So yeah, we have 4 hours to go, like I said, and check-in number 1 is doing so far so good. So I will see you guys in 4 hours. I go actually, I did want to pop in on here and say that it did crease around my mouth area pretty bad. But I do have a lot of fine lines around my mouth, but this kind of sinked in there a little too quickly, so yeah, just like my mouth area looks a little bit cakey and a little bit extra wrinkly, I want to say. I do wish I would have added a few more drops. I did add 3 or 4 drops. I wish I would have added at least 2 more, because if I look at myself in the mirror, it looks a little too pale. It still does look a little bit yellow. It's not as pink, but you could tell right away it doesn't match. But other than that, so far so good. So I'll see you guys. So it is roughly 8 o'clock, and I'm gonna give you guys my final review about this and zoom you guys up. Not zoom you guys up, but like give you guys real close-ups of my face. So far I've been wearing the mix-in drops for a good maybe 8 hours and like 20 minutes if anything, but who's really keeping track of those minutes? Anyways, but I feel like my face still looks good. Like, obviously not as good as it was when I first started off the day, but my makeup is a little crusty, so excuse all that. I don't see any shininess coming through. All I have is just a little bit of highlight, excuse me, and I applied that on my forehead, my nose, cupid's bow, my chin, and my tops of my cheek, and that's basically all the oil that's peeping through. Oil, should I say, because it's also highlight. But yeah, my face looks good. Out of 10, I want to give them a good 7, like a strong 7. My face doesn't feel tacky. I did mention in the first 4 hours that my face felt a little oily, and it does feel oily, so I'm not sure how people that have oily skin will feel about this. But I have dry skin and it looks pretty good. It does kind of cake up around my mouth, especially because I have a lot of dryness around there. It hasn't clinged on to like the pimples that I have right here. The only parts that it did cling on was on my nose right here. It did rub off on my nose because I sweat a lot from my nose and my upper lip, but other than that's really normal for like all my foundations and everything to rub off on the tip of my nose and upper lip, so I'm not worried about that, and that does not interfere or make me change my mind about the drops. Other than that, I really like it. Like I said, I don't know how people with oily skin will feel about them, but they are a good thing to have in your makeup kit just in case you're a freelance artist that works with different skin tones. It's perfect. Instead of going out and buying different foundations, it's perfect to add into foundation that you already have around. So with that being said, you guys, that is the end of today's review. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know down below all your video requests. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I post 3 times a week. And yeah, if I have any further opinions or something comes up in my mind about these foundation drops, I will leave it down below in the description box. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.